Welcome back. It is just another sports betting podcast, the greatest name for a sports betting podcast available anywhere. I'm Cody.
Hello.
You follow me on Twitter at Cody_CHGO. I'm joined with my good pal, my new degenerate. Well, he's not really new, but we've been texting way too much recently about degenerate gambling. Tommy.
Yes, hi.
Wrigley.
Yes, it's good to talk with somebody about it and be with somebody, and so that way, it's better than being alone and doing it.
Fair. We're live on Twitter, on my YouTube channel, and to my mom on Facebook. If you see this, I swear to God, I'm normal. Okay. Streaming from my Facebook page for the first time doing this just because it's more of a test because the views aren't adding up to what StreamYard is telling me how many people are watching.
Interesting.
So I'm curious to like what platform has all these bots that say that's watching it when they're not. So I'm just very confused. So I'm streaming on my Facebook page as more of a test. But if my friends and family want to come in and start chatting about being a degenerate gambler, I'll keep doing it.
I say we do it. I'll put it on mine too at some point.
Yeah. Okay. Week 6 NFL bets. First off, also, you still riding Arizona State +6 tonight?
Yes, still riding. I have the bet locked in Arizona State +6, and we also need them to win outright because we are 17% of the way to a victory, and we're throwing a dart at the dartboard and hoping we hit a bullseye parlay.
Yes,
I'm confident.
It's such a great name.
Look, we had Louisiana Tech. I took Louisiana Tech -4 last night. They won by 27 points. So potentially onto something here. I'm 5-0 in college. You're doing really well in college. Like, hopefully
I went
people
0-2 last night in college.
Well, it's the thought that matters.
Hopefully, Coastal Carolina. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, that was wild. They just laid down. I had the under in that game in my cart, and I took it out, and it still hit. So
I
that's
watched
crazy.
them score their one touchdown. I was like, okay, y'all are gonna.
Oh, it was 7-7 so fast.
Yeah. And then it was over.
Yeah.
And
people that bet the over, man, I feel for them because that sucks when it starts off so hot like that, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be a breeze, and then one team scores and the other doesn't. That's how it goes. So, yeah, I'm feeling good at college, but yeah, I have the Arizona State +6, and I also put out UNLV -10.5 first half tonight. Those are two late night games. If you don't feel like staying up for them and you like the rush of the going to bed with a bet and then waking up the next morning to see if it won, I did that last night in a hockey game. I took the over in the Sharks Blues game or Sharks somebody game, and it worked. So
fair enough. I could cash out this parlay right now and make 59 cents. I could.
Look, they're begging you. They're saying, please don't take our money.
They're begging me to cash it out.
Yeah. I'm all over Arizona State tonight. I'm going to be watching the game. I'm very excited. I hope they can cover +6, but I really like them to win the game. So this parlay goes into tomorrow.
Yeah, I would like for the parlay to go into my Saturday and hope that I hope that I'm at this wedding I have to go to tomorrow, very intoxicated and sweating USC. Or not USC. I guess it would be Tennessee. Or no. Yeah, Tennessee is the late game on this parlay tomorrow. Tennessee's the last game. But you have 3 2:30 games tomorrow. So we need Arizona State, late night, Friday Night Lights.
Yep.
At home against Utah tonight. Let's go.
Big game. Utah's starting quarterback's playing. He's got the bad hand thing going, but he's still playing tonight. And also, like, look, you can't get in with the Louisiana Tech booster that we gave you, but you could still probably make some money on a parlay. So to remind everybody, Arizona State tonight. Then tomorrow we have USC over Penn State, Texas over Oklahoma, Pittsburgh over Cal, and then Tennessee over Florida. So we had great odds at 21.56, but I bet if you don't put Louisiana Tech in there, I bet you could still get it like 1,500, 1,600 or something like that. So telling you.
Also, just right before, we're going to do NFL bets here. We're 5 minutes in. We haven't even started.
Yeah, we got to talk.
We like to talk. There is a 20% boost on BetMGM for college football. If you want to ride with us on Arizona State, I'm just saying. You can, So,
yeah.
All right. NFL week 6, first game. We're not starting with the Bears just because we're Bears fans. It's the first game.
Yeah, it's at 8:30 in the morning, and the city of Chicago, you are not allowed to sell beer until 9 a.m. So it's going to be a sober first quarter here in Chicago.
Unless you go get your alcohol early.
Or you just stay at home like I'm going to do. I think I'm going to drink a couple pints of Guinness myself at 8:30 in the morning.
I feel like I will miss the first half. I have to go to a wedding tomorrow.
I will be surprised if you catch any of this game. Respectfully, of course.
Respectfully, I agree. Like, I will be surprised if I watch this or if I'm able to catch even 3 quarters.
Right.
I understand why the NFL is trying to go overseas and stuff, and it's working. People more and more are not only traveling across the world to go to these games, but also you can tell that the NFL is continuing to grow globally. So
yeah, and I think it's way cooler when it's not your team that goes over to England, because like that's a game 8:30. You make sure you get your bets in the night before, and then you either wake up for it or you don't.
Yeah.
And when it's your team, there's pressure to get up and be ready to go by 8:30 in the morning. So
right. Well,
yeah, and let's just get right into it. I'm terrified. I am so scared of this game. I don't like betting on Bears games, but for the sake of this podcast and the sake of content, I do have a pick, but this is terrifying, man.
All right. Well, here I have 2 picks, 2 player props. Just that way it keeps you off betting the spread.
Sure.
Okay. Now, just in case no one knows, Bears are on BetMGM, they're -1. On FanDuel, I saw they're at -1.5. All right. So,
which should automatically freak you out.
Perhaps, but I was going to say this is the smartest and best gambling advice I could ever give you. Never bet when it's like -1 or -1.5. Just take the money line, pay the juice, because if the Bears win by 1, say you go on at BetMGM and they only win by 1, you sweat that entire game and you don't even make any money. Just take the money line. Just take the money line. If you want to take the Bears, take them at -120 on the money line. Okay. You get the Jags at +100 if you think the Jags are going to win this game. They come into this matchup 1-4. The Bears are 3-2. Bears coming off blowing out the Carolina Panthers. Jags started 0-4. They win finally last week. And now they go to London.
Overcame Joe Flacco.
Yeah, they overcame Joe Flacco. Now they got to see if they can overcome Caleb Williams. Jags, I will admit, they have been worse than I expected. I didn't have high expectations, but I did not expect 1-4 start.
Yeah.
And the Bears, they're actually exactly where I thought they'd be. They have won and lost every game that I thought they would win and lose this year. If you go back to preseason predictions, there's a video on my YouTube channel. It's on my TikTok. It's on my Instagram. I am undefeated on predicting Bears wins and losses so far this year. So
yeah, we are over shout out Through the Garden, my podcast with my friends Jordan Campbell and Alex Pat. We
shout
also
out Alex.
Yes, those are my guys. I ride and die for them. So we went through the whole schedule as well. We too also as well are right on it. Dead on every single game. Maybe not the scores correct, but we definitely have the wins, losses. We knew exactly what to expect. So we're dead on. And quite honestly, if I remember correctly, I'd have to go back and look. I have it written down somewhere, but I think we picked to lose this game. Like, London is just weird. It's weird. It's just weird.
Well, I'll say this. All right. If our hopes and dreams of the Bears making the playoffs come true, they will have won this game.
Yeah.
They will need to have won this game because the schedule will get harder. All right. However, if you are afraid to bet this game, like Tommy,
I do have a pick.
May I interest you in the most obvious play of obvious plays?
Oh boy.
Okay. I have 2 plays. All right. Okay. One, in my opinion, would be a long shot. The other is the most obvious you just bet it. And if you're going to be like me and be hungover on Sunday and going to miss 3 quarters, wake up before noon and see that you already won a bet before the noon slate starts. I'm telling you, I promise you, that bet is DJ Moore over 65.5 receiving. Or, I mean, it's 65.5 on BetMGM, 63.5. Yes, 63.5 on FanDuel with better odds.
Okay. Yeah, okay. DJ Moore coming off a really good game against the Panthers. He had a couple touchdowns. He had a couple really good catches. Yeah, I hear you.
The Jacksonville Jaguars have the 31st worst pass defense in the NFL.
It's close to dead last.
And he had a great game against Carolina. Him and Caleb Williams seem to be coming together. They're probably eating lunch together, talking ball, talking about their lives together. You can just tell. And everyone who said, oh, DJ Moore wants to sit on the other side of the bench or whatever, he was doing that last week too, okay? Yeah. DJ Moore is perfectly fine in Chicago. They're not going to trade him. And also, I have a future on him to go over 950 receiving yards for the season. So I need him to have a good game here.
Need him to pitter-patter. Let's get at her for sure to get that one going.
All right. He's near 300 for the season. This is another game where he could easily have another 100-yard game here. The Jags pass defense is terrible. The Bears offense has taken gradual steps every week. For as annoying as the 2 losses that they've had are, they have taken gradual steps forward on offense every week, and most notably last week against a bad team. This Jags team is 1-4, okay? So if you don't want to bet Bears money line like I plan to because the Bears are simply just better than them, take this player prop, DJ Moore, over 63.5 receiving on FanDuel. All right?
So, yeah, I like that. Go ahead and do your long shot too.
My long shot, okay? And when I say the odds, it won't sound like a long shot, but it's unbelievable odds when you think about it, all right? Roschon Johnson to score a touchdown at plus 230, just to score 1 touchdown. He had 2 last week.
Yeah, he seems to be their goal line guy for sure.
He has been the guy inside the 10, the 5. He is second on the team in red zone rushing attempts. Okay? The guy has gotten more and more attempts each of the last couple weeks. And he's at plus 230, Tommy, to score a touchdown.
Yeah, quite honestly, that is shocking. If you were to ask me to put odds on a Rojo touchdown for the game, I would have put it at like 110 or something like that, 120. Yeah, 230, that's crazy odds. That's a good find. That seems really good. If you feel like the Bears are going to put up some points, which obviously you do, I do as well. You got to feel like they're going to get down into the red zone and then they're going to give Rojo the ball. So yeah, plus 230, that's great value.
Well, it's not even that I am sure they're going to put up a bunch of points. It's more of the fact that, like, say this game turns out to be not necessarily chaos in meaning that there's points, but just like maybe there's some bad turnovers. Maybe, it's
1,000% going to rain.
Right.
Because it always does.
Right. There's like no points in the first half, but maybe there's the second half is different. Right. Like, I just think if it's one of those games where the Bears offense kind of falls back down to earth, Roschon Johnson is the guy that if they get inside the 10 on the goal line, he is the guy that they are going to give the ball to. He's got a touchdown, at least 1 touchdown in his last 2 games. He's got 3 his last 2 games. And the Jags are 29th against the run, and they're 24th against the run from running backs. So in general, 29th against the run. But running backs are doing just fine against them too, right? So I think all things considered, Roschon Johnson is another play that I have to take again.
Okay. Yeah. So you like DJ Moore over 65.5 receiving yards and then Rojo for a touchdown plus 230. Yes. Those are 2 very good plays, 2 very good props.
Yes. Those are, if you are not going to play Bears money line like I am, because I just simply think they're the better team. That is largely why I'm not even going to explain it to people. I just think the Bears are the better team. They're 3-2. The Jags are 1-4. The Bears are coming up blowing out the Panthers. They've won 2 in a row, and they know the schedule gets tougher. They know that they need to go win this game if they want to make the postseason.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I'm kind of on the same road as you. I'm scared to death of the spread, and I'm scared to death of the total as well. It just seems like London, like I've said it over and over again, London games are just weird. Weird things happen in London. Couple injuries for the Bears on the defensive side of the ball. But
Jaquan Brisker, yes.
Yeah. That being said, Stevenson now too, he had a little whoopsie doodle in practice, and he did not practice today. So they said he's gonna be a game time decision. That all being said, so the Bears looked a lot better last week than they had in previous weeks. Stacey Dales was on the radio this morning talking about how the team didn't even have a scripted 15 plays to begin a game until last week. Mm-hmm. Of course, last week's first play was almost a pick six, but at least they had it scripted, and they weren't. And right after that, they went straight to running the ball. I think they've learned their lesson, and I think they're going to be able to establish the run and find their way down the field to score some points, which is why the only play that I have written down, although I have written down your props now because those are alerted to me, the only play I have written down is over 22.5 points for the Chicago Bears. I think that they can put up 3 touchdowns and a field goal in this game. I don't think that's too much to ask. Rojo with the touchdown. He might have 2 again this week. DJ Moore, obviously he's going to help him get down the field.
Yeah.
If you can't get me 24 points in this game, I don't know if you're even going to be in contention to win the game. So I'm going to be sad either way. So I'm going over 22.5, because if they can put 23, 24 points on the board, I'll feel a lot better about them winning a football game.
Not that I want this to happen, but if the Jags somehow put up 24 points in the game and the Bears don't score any at all in the most wild, like, disappointing
fire everybody,
game ever,
sell the team,
right?
Like that's it.
If you get shut out by the Jags,
yeah,
they're a terrible pass defense.
Yeah. It's we joke about it, but can you imagine Monday morning if that happens? My God,
brother, I will have thought that the Sunday Scaries would have started significantly earlier, and I will have been on to just completely forgetting about the Bears season and moving on to college basketball season. That's where I would be. Yes.
Yeah. So let's not let that happen. Let's go ahead and you get your couple props. I get my team total, and then the Bears win the game. Let's just do that before we even start the noon window.
So it's a team total. Not
yes.
Oh, I thought you were taking like an alternate just game total. Okay.
Oh no, that would be like minus 1,000 or something like that. Yeah, this is team total Bears over 22.5. It is minus 115 on either Bet Rivers, DraftKings, or the ESPN bet. So you can find it everywhere. I like the team total here. But now I'm starting to think about parlaying that with your 2 props. But we'll see. I
was thinking about that too. 2 terrible minds think alike.
Yeah, I will. If you follow me on Twitter at Tom of Wrigley, I am going to put out all of my plays like the morning before the game. I'll put all my college plays for that we did yesterday also on my Twitter. So
credit to you. That's more than what I'll do.
Well, you taught me how to play with Canva, so I'm having a great time.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is I use Canva, but I also have access to CHGO's like Adobe Creative Cloud. It's just so much easier.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
Shall
we move on? Oh, the total is 44.5. Because it's in London, I do lean under. If I were to bet on that, I lean under.
Yeah, I'm counting on the Bears scoring like 23, 24 points, and the Jags doing absolutely nothing.
Right. But with this Tyreek Stevenson injury, which I just got a notification tweet saying that he's now listed as doubtful.
Yeah, they were just talking about it. I do have the Chicago Sports Network on after an hours of labor. There's cables everywhere because now I have to have a stupid antenna, but that's for another podcast on another day. I did see them talking about that. So
yeah. The Bears have gone over the last 2 games, but they went under the first 3 games. The under is hit in 10 of their last 15 games. But again, a large majority of those games were a complete different offense, a complete different offensive coordinator. So
yeah, I'll believe that they've turned. I'll buy into them having turned a corner here and are starting want to go into the bye week with a really good game against the Jags. And then coming up on a Commanders offense that looks really good. So I don't really mind resting the defensive guys this week. But yeah, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt now. And if they disappoint me, I'll be like, I mean, it is impossible to be hurt any more than I've already been hurt as a Chicago Bears fan. So like, who cares? Literally, who cares?
Fair enough. Okay. Now we're just going to go through the rest of the slate. We said this before we even started. This week's slate sucks. Like, I don't like a lot of these games at all. I always do like a Sunday slate moneyline parlay, and I honestly feel like I'm trying to do these Bears props, maybe another couple props from the Cowboys and Lions game, and then a moneyline parlay for the noon and 3 o'clock slates, and then probably just do another primetime under with Bengals and Giants. Okay. That's just the full scape. That's what I feel like I'm most likely going to do. But let's go through the slate anyway. Browns at Philadelphia. Browns 1-4. Eagles 2-2. Eagles 8.5-point favorites. Over under is 42.5. Thomas. Can I call you Thomas?
You can call me whatever you want, brother.
Thomas. How are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, so this is a crappy game. These are two teams with really bad vibes, and then, but arguably the vibes may be worse in Philadelphia than they are in Cleveland. Vibes are always bad in Cleveland. We know what happens there. Hopefully, they're watching their baseball team and being happy about that for at least another day. But yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles desperately need a win here. The Cleveland Browns have nothing to lose. The spread is 9.5, which is wild. When the lines first came out, when the schedules were announced, this was a 3-point game. Now we're up to 9.5. This is crazy. But I'm not really concerned about that as much as I am a system play that I follow of teams that get blown out the week before coming and covering the number the next week. And the Browns follow that system, and the number being 9.5, that is a huge number. And I don't care who you are. It is hard to beat a team in the NFL, and it's hard to beat a team by 10 points in the NFL. So the Eagles could just easily win this game by 6, 7, 8 points and feel just as good about themselves as if they would completely knock them out. So I took the Browns plus 9.5. I really like this system play. I'm just throwing it into the wind. And as far as the money goes, like there's so much money right now on the Eagles to cover this huge number. So I'm kind of going against the money too, just to see what's going on. Yeah, this is a total system play on my end.
What's the record of said system play?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I'll pull it up here.
The people are wondering.
Yeah. So all time, it has a 57% winning percentage. So. Wow. Yeah, this is an A-graded system on the site that I use. I followed it a couple weeks ago. For instance, one of them was Jacksonville plus 5.5 at Houston. They were all over that one. They had the Rams plus 6 against the Niners. The Rams won outright. So it seems like they know what they're doing. And they had last week they had the Cardinals for 24 over the Niners. They were 7.5-point dogs, and they came and won the game outright. So,
okay,
I'm following the system here. I'm trusting the process. We'll see what happens.
I'm kind of digging it. I might tail.
Okay, all right. Okay. I like that.
Next game: Buccaneers and Saints. Bucks are 3.5-point favorites on the road in New Orleans. The total is 41.5. Saints coming off a embarrassing, in my opinion, Monday night loss to the Chiefs on the road. Could not even cover 5.5 points. Short week for the Saints. If I were to bet this, I would take the Bucks. Maybe I will put the Buccaneers in my moneyline parlay. The only reason that I haven't is because it's a divisional matchup and they're road favorites, and it scares me. And that actually scares me more than the Bears going to London to play the Jags.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know what the records are for road divisional favorites, but I know it cannot possibly be good.
No, it can't be good, but also to play devil's advocate here, I don't have a pick for this game either. I might go Bucks 3.5 as well. Maybe we talk each other into this by the end of this conversation, but I don't have the exact numbers or the exact stat. But since Baker Mayfield has left Carolina and he's left Cleveland and he's now found a home with the Buccaneers, he's not lost 2 consecutive games.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's straight up or against the spread, but he has not lost. Either way, he has not lost 2 consecutive games. They're favored by 3.5 here. Saints without a starting quarterback. Spencer Rattler is going to start the game for them. So probably a lot of Taysom Hill action. If he's even playing, he's hurt. So I might be just talking myself in the Bucks minus 3.5 right here, right now.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at the Bucks 2023 schedule. And as I look, they lost 2 consecutive games back in October, right around this time in October last year. They lost to the Lions on October 15th, and then they lost to Atlanta the next week.
They must have been favored, or they must have been dogs.
They were favored.
They must have been dogs to the Lions, but covered. And then, yeah.
Well, okay. So against the Lions last year on October 15th, they were 3-point underdogs. They lost by 14.
Oh, okay.
And then against Atlanta, they were 2.5-point favorites and lost by 3.
Okay, so tough stretch. Maybe it's after that. Maybe it's in the last year. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have a pick. I don't have an official pick. I will put my official picks out, but I don't have an official pick on this one right now.
I will say this. I had Patrick Mahomes passing attempts on Monday night against the Saints, and the Saints ranked 27th in pass attempts against them. So teams know that they are not good at defending the pass. And so when I bring up their rankings, like I am right now, okay, when I bring up their rankings, the Saints against the pass are 26th. All right. And I know that the Chiefs, Pacheco's out and Carson Steele and Kareem Hunt aren't exactly Isaiah Pacheco at this point in our lives. But Mahomes had almost 30 passing attempts before halftime. And you look at the Buccaneers and they're like, what do you call it? I would get like their pass and run snap percentages, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I look at someone like Bucky Irving, who's played very well over his last couple games. Rashad White is out in this game, I think. Or no, he's questionable. Or no, it says he's doubtful. He's doubtful with a foot injury. Bucky Irving is a guy that he is shown to be able to run the ball, and he's also caught a few passes as well. I don't hate him, but the point that I'm really fully getting at here is that Tampa Bay passes the ball 58% of their snaps and run it 41%. So if Patrick Mahomes, in the way the Chiefs play, he had that passing attempts total pretty quickly, cashed in the third quarter for me last week. When I look at Baker Mayfield passing attempts, yeah, it's taking forever to come up here. Baker Mayfield pass attempts. Where the fuck is it?
Let's see. Oh, so also Baker Mayfield. It might have been just this year that they're talking about. He hasn't lost against the spread 2 times in a row because he's 3-2 against the spread this year.
Yeah. Okay. Found it. It's at 32.5. Mahomes was set at 33.5 on Monday. All right. Again, the Saints are 26th, ranked 26th in the National Football League against the pass. The Bucs love to throw the ball more than run it already. Rashad White's going to be out. Bucky Irving can do a little bit of both, I believe. So it's not like they're going to just run it or just pass. I think there'll be a good mix. And also they have Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. So I just talked myself into it, to be honest with you.
Bucks 3.5?
No. Baker Mayfield over 32.5 pass attempts.
Interesting.
Baker Mayfield over 32.5 pass attempts. They're going to throw the ball plenty in this game, I think. The only thing that scares me is if they jump out to a huge lead and the Saints can't come back. So, but again,
yeah,
Mahomes Mahomes hit this prop against the Saints on Monday night almost in the first half.
Sure.
So, and they throw it nearly 60% of the snaps.
He does, yeah, and like you said, he does have some weapons that can help him out. So, yeah, that's not a bad pick. I like that.
I'm writing it down right now.
Yeah, I just put it down too, just to see what happens. Again, no official pick, but I will put my picks out.
Okay. Next game. Wow, that was incredible. Just bringing shit up out of nowhere stuff. Cardinals and Packers. Okay. Everyone knows that I hate the Green Bay Packers, but man, do I love to bet on them because maybe it's because I'm just so used to them ruining my life that I know when to bet on them and when to not bet on them. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 games the Packers have played, they have absolutely stunk it up in the first half. They were down like 28-3 or 28-7, something like that after the first half against the Vikings. They made a huge comeback. They were unable to fulfill it, right? They were unable to complete the comeback. Last week, they were down at halftime to the Rams. Jordan Love threw the most hilarious interception that I have ever seen. But they basically blew them out in the second half. They won by like 6 points.
Sure.
Last I saw, it was at 5.5. Outliers showing me now 4.5. Arizona, the only thing that's holding me back from the spread is the fact that Arizona had no business winning that game against the 49ers last week, and it was a very fluky win, in my opinion. So the point is I'm staying away from the spread, but the Packers are absolutely going in my money line parlay. They're at home. They're facing a team that they should beat. And even though they haven't played well for a full game the last 2 games, I think this is a game where they play a full game because they're at home and Matt LaFleur is a good coach.
So here's where I'm at. I have labeled this game under my column of too scared to take because I like the Cardinals plus 5.5. They did beat the 49ers last week. I do agree with you. I think that was more of a 49ers loss than a Cardinals win. They did come out of the gates hot, but they took care of business at the end. They fall in another system that I like that converts 58% of the time. It is when there is a road underdog and there is a low total after the team had a bad season prior to this season.
What a system.
This system this year alone is 8-1, which is saying that bad teams last year are good this year. Last year, the Cardinals were not with Kyler Murray, and now they have Kyler Murray, and they're good. They're good. They're fluky, but they're good. The only time that this system did not work was last week for the Panthers, who were 4-point dogs to the Bears, and the Bears, who were bad last year, just took them to the woodshed. So they were all over Tennessee plus 2.5 against Miami. Granted, that helped that Tua wasn't there, but the spread, the number is made with Tua not being there. They had Washington plus 3.5 against these very Cardinals who got blown out by the Commanders. They had Carolina plus 5.5 when they won the game against the Raiders. Like, this is a thing. So I'm buying into it. And I'm not going, as of this point, when I like a game that involves picking against the Packers, I do not take it. I just enjoy if it works, because I'll be damned if I'm going to lose money and the Packers are going to win at the same time.
So again, this system is 8-1 this year.
8-1 this year.
8-1. And explain the system one more time for me.
So it's when there is a road underdog.
Okay.
And there's a low total after the team had a bad season last year.
What is defined as a low total? Because 47.5 isn't a low total.
Anywhere it says on here, it says the parameters are anywhere from 0 to 50, and the spread range has to be anywhere from a 0.5 point underdog to 6.5 point underdog.
Oh, buddy. 8-1?
8-1.
I might play it. Cardinals plus 5.5. Lock it in, folks.
You know what? If you're going to do it, I'll do it too.
Should I remove the Packers from my money line parlay now?
I will never put money on the Packers to win a game unless it is in the playoffs. Yeah. And I always take their spread in the playoffs.
Well, this actually benefits the Cardinals. If we were to take this, the Cardinals are undefeated on the road this year.
Jordan Love does not look good. Yeah. I'm just saying he doesn't look. You can say he's hurt or whatever. Doesn't look good.
It doesn't help that the Packers haven't played a full game the last 2 weeks.
No, they haven't.
They were terrible against the Vikings for the first half, and they really weren't that good in the first half against the Rams last week.
Yeah.
And the Rams had every chance to win that game.
And we've seen this Cardinals team start quick.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Plus 5.5. I like it.
8-1.
8-1. Let's make it 9-1.
Screw it. I'm in. Right. Okay. Cardinals plus 5.5, folks. Okay.
Puck the Packers.
Okay. Next game. Colts at Titans.
Nothing. I have nothing
this
for you in
this
this
sucks,
game.
Dude.
Game stinks. No, nothing. I'm not watching it.
Only real degenerates bet on this game.
Well, here's the thing. I will watch it because, as you know, we watch every football game here on NFL Sundays.
Yeah.
So it will be on my TV, but I promise you I will only look at it occasionally. I am not betting this game. I could not care less about this game.
Is Anthony Richardson going to be back?
Pat McAfee said on his show today he cannot officially say because he's not an official spokesman of the Indianapolis Colts, but he does believe that Anthony Richardson will be back.
Okay. They ruled Jonathan Taylor out, though.
That's tough. That's tough. But Will Levis, so evens out.
Yeah. They don't have Anthony Richardson on the injury report, at least according to Outlier.
Yeah, so I guess they're playing.
Michael Pittman is questionable. Oh, no, here he is. He's questionable. Anthony Richardson is questionable.
Feel bad for Michael Pittman. He used to be a stud in fantasy.
Well, he's been playing for the Colts for this long. And
yeah, T's and P's, brother. Anyways, I don't care about this game. I got nothing for this game.
Yeah, I mean, God. The Titans or the Colts have been terrible against the run this year. The Titans are a run-first team. Maybe a prop related to rushing. That's what I got for you, folks. All right, let's move to Commanders and Ravens. And we kind of discussed this game off air.
Yeah, this is a big one for me.
Commanders 4-1, go to Baltimore with Jaden Daniels, who everyone is already claiming is better than Caleb Williams. It's another podcast to do. I'm not going to talk about it. Against a Ravens team that just had a shootout against the Bengals last week. Baltimore minus 6.5, 6.5 point favorites. The over under is 51.5. I will say this. I lean under because I think the Ravens defense will be better this week. There's some tape on Jaden Daniels now. And also the schedule the Commanders have played has been very soft. This is probably the best team that they will have played up to this point. So the over-under that I'm reading right now is around 51.5.
Yep.
Again, the Commanders have played Tampa Bay. Week 1, they lost by 17. Okay. Then they played the Giants, the Bengals, who honestly they should be better than the Bengals should be better than what the record is, but they've lost some really close games and horrific.
We're gonna find out how real bad the Bengals are this Sunday night, but that's
fair enough. Fair enough, yeah. Right? They beat the Giants. They went to Cincinnati and won 38-33. They blew out the Cardinals on the road, and then they just pounded the Browns at home this past week.
Yeah.
So they've blown out the last 2 opponents they've played. The last 8 quarters they've played, they've been awesome.
Yeah.
Now they go on the road and face this Baltimore Ravens team that's really good.
With an MVP quarterback and maybe a struggling defense, but still not a bear I'd like to poke for sure.
Sure. The Ravens ranked defensively 24th in scoring right now. They have played some good teams. They had one game in there that I think probably didn't look good. Yeah, the game. Well, no, they blew out the Bills. I thought there was a game in here that they got blown out.
They weren't very good. They gave up a lot of points to Joe Burrow and the Bengals last week, but that was really the first time Joe Burrow had all of his weapons all year.
Sure.
So
they were blowing out the Cowboys, and then the Cowboys almost came back and beat them.
Yes. Yeah, that did happen. Yeah. So
the over has actually hit in 4 out of the 5 games for the Ravens this year. But
I like the under for a lot of the, like you said some things that, I mean, look, this feels like the game that the Commanders find out, okay, this has been fun, but now we understand that we have some work to do. It feels like every rookie quarterback has a moment where they go against a veteran team and they kind of learn a lesson. And I feel like that's what is coming for Jaden Daniels. I do like the under here because I don't expect the Ravens to put up as many points as they did last week, but I really don't expect them to give much up to Jaden Daniels. I think there's going to be a huge focus on containing him and being ready for him. Plus, just a little insider tip for everybody. 73% of the bets are on the over in this game, but almost 50% of the money is on the under. That tells me that the under is the play here because there's some people with more money that know more than me that are betting on the under. So I have the under as one of my plays, and for the same reasons that I just talked about, I also kind of like the Ravens to beat them by a touchdown. It's -7. I think I might buy a hook for 6.5. But this one feels like all Ravens to me, quite honestly.
Yeah. I the 6.5. If I were to bet the spread, you put a gun to my head and force me to bet it, I would take the Ravens. Now, if it got over 7, I'd probably take the Commanders.
Yeah, 6.5 feels like a safe zone to me. And honestly, as we get closer to game time, I wouldn't be surprised if that continues to go up 7.5, 8 or so. So I think I'll lock in a hook at 6.5 and this is going to be a good football game, so I'm excited about this one.
Sure. The Commanders, I've already given out a few player props with this Baker Mayfield one in the Bears game as well. The Commanders, they're not very good against the pass, man.
No, they're not. And Lamar Jackson, I don't know if you've heard of him. He has won an MVP and probably should have been in a Super Bowl by now, but
he had 4 passing touchdowns last week, 2 the week before that, against the Bills. And so the Commanders are 31st in passing touchdowns allowed in the NFL. I kind of like Lamar over 1.5 passing touchdowns and -120.
-120, that is, for 1.5?
For 1.5.
Put that on my card, man.
So I lean under and give me Lamar Jackson over 1.5 passing touchdowns against the Commanders. Writing it down now so I don't forget that that's what I'm going to take. 1.5 pass TDs.
Love it.
Hell yeah, brother. Okay. Next game. Also, that might be the second best game of the week.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We go from a good game to an absolute snooze fest. Texans at Patriots.
Nope. Drake May's starting. The Patriots are wearing their sweet throwback uniforms, but you won't get me. I have cracked the code on sweet uniforms as I took the 49ers -3.5 last night against the Seahawks sweet uniforms. Dominated, and they just put the nail in the coffin on the last part of the game where it wasn't Mason, but it should have been Mason. Ran 76, 77 yards. Yeah, I'm not touching this game. I don't like it. I hate it. I think CJ Stroud and the Texans are going to win the game, but that's all you'll get out of me. I'm not going to put a bet down.
Well, I'm trying to find the touchdown props of this game, and they're not up.
They don't even want it. They don't even want the smoke.
Well, what I wanted to do is maybe sprinkle on Texans special teams defense to score a touchdown. Drake May first game.
How jank was that last night?
I know.
2 times the 49ers intercepted Geno Smith, and they could have made it to the end zone both times.
The second one for sure. They were
the second
in their
one
territory.
For sure. And then the Seahawks run a punt back, or a kickoff back. Are you kidding me? That's just mean.
So I would say if I were you that you're still undefeated on it because you guessed that one team would do it.
I didn't give up on my bet like they gave up on the play. Some are saying. Yeah. I'll probably pick a defensive touchdown. I don't know who it is yet. I'll examine the board, but
all I'm saying is if you're going to do a money line parlay, Texans.
Yeah, Texans definitely part of a money line parlay. They may get my pick for a defensive touchdown too, like a welcome to the league kid pick 6.
Sure you go.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the noon slate. Let's move to the 3:00 slate. Jim Harbaugh versus Sean Payton. Chargers at Broncos.
Yep.
Broncos coming off a nice win. Bo Nix looks competent for 1 week.
Sure.
Jim Harbaugh, they're coming off the bye. It's
much needed bye for them.
Yeah, it's a divisional game. The Chargers are 3-point favorites on the road, but every game they play is basically on the road. If we're going to be honest,
TBH.
The Chargers are 7-3 against the spread their last 10 games as a favorite.
Yeah, I like the over. It's 35.5. It's super low. I don't know. High altitude. I'm not going to. This is not an official pick at this time. I like the over. As of right now, I have no pick.
Okay. Well, let's just go off predicted game script. Also, Joey Bosa is questionable.
Bodes well for the over.
Yeah, that is good for.
You know what? Screw it. Put it on my card. Over 35.5. Chargers Broncos. I said it. I'm doing it.
Samuel is also ruled out. He's cornerback. Okay. And Desire Taylor is also out. So some defensive, some guys on defense out. Out, and Joey Bosa is questionable.
They're begging you. They're begging you
to take the over. They are.
They got me. Put it on my card. I'm in. 35.5.
Okay. Yeah, so the Chargers, it's scary to take they want you to take it, but it's scary, and it's why their total so low is the Chargers are 28th on offense this year in scoring offense, and the Broncos are second defensively in scoring defense. They're great against the pass. They're top 10 in rushing yards allowed. They get after the quarterback. They're third in sacks. They're second in QB hits.
So why are they underdogs? Are you talking me into Broncos +3 right now?
I mean, they're at home, but let's be honest here. Who's the better coach? It's kind of hard to tell. Like Harbaugh's been in college for all these years, but he was a great NFL coach. Sean Payton is probably going to go to the Hall of Fame one day, and I don't just say that because he went to the same school as me. But
no, look, Sean Payton got his guy. Like he wanted Bo Nix, and Bo Nix was his guy, and now he's got him playing, and he looked good last week. So maybe there's momentum there. And the Chargers, you can make the case that, they had a much needed bye week. They probably figured some stuff out, and they could come out of the gates hot as well. So yeah, give me points. 35.5. It's not that hard. What is that? Five touchdowns and a field goal? Come on.
Yeah. I would lean Chargers because giving Jim Harbaugh 2 weeks to prepare for this game feels like a good bet to place, especially when they're 7-3 in their last 10 as a favorite.
Yeah.
And Bo Nix is still a rookie. It was one game.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I like that. I'll just take my chances with the over, I think, 35.5.
Hey, you're going to be sweating that one. These two offenses are hard to watch.
Well, you gotta do something in the 3:00 hour.
Fair enough. Okay. Now, the other 3:00 game. Steelers in Vegas. They go and play the Raiders. The Raiders. All right.
This game stinks.
Steelers played Sunday Night Football on primetime their last game and lost on a last-second touchdown from Dak Prescott. I had Cowboys money line in that game, by the way.
That's tough.
And I took. Well, it's tough for Steelers bettors. I had Cowboys money line.
Sorry. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great bet.
I won my bet.
You super won. Sorry, I'm so used to being being one of these trolls that comments on your Twitter. Yeah, that's my fault.
That's obviously who you are. Steelers now 3-2 on the season. Raiders 2-3. Devontae Adams not going to play. But the thing is the Steelers are 3-point favorites, and Mike Tomlin as a road favorite is 33-41.
Wolf.
He's awesome as an underdog. The thing that makes me want to take the Steelers is obviously their defense is awesome. TJ Watt's going to go to the Hall of Fame one day.
Their defense is we talked about this too. Their defense is way better than their offense is bad. Mm-hmm. Their defense is good more so than their offense is bad. So it doesn't really matter to me who's going to be the quarterback between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. The Raiders are a train wreck right now. They don't know what's going on. I have the Steelers. I bought a hook for 2.5. So Steelers minus 2.5. It's 128 on FanDuel. I went and did that. But there's also a lot of signs that are telling me that the play is also the under in this game with the ridiculous 36.5. 10% of the bets are on the under, but 39% of the money. So this might be another little system play on the under. But I'm definitely on Steelers minus 2.5. Shout out my wife, who is a diehard Steelers fan.
Last year they played, the score ended up being 23-18, but the total was 41.
Dead on.
Or the total was 43.5.
Okay, so
it went under. Yeah. Yep. So they went under last year. But that total's probably higher because Devontae Adams played in that game.
And Devontae Adams isn't in this game, and Justin Fields can't throw the ball accurately. So
sure. And also, at that point, I'm pretty sure Jimmy Garoppolo was still the quarterback. There's some different things going on here for the Raiders. It was on September 24th last year.
Yep.
Steelers defense still pretty much the same. Is a team total a play here? Can the Raiders, whatever the team total is, should Raiders team total under?
Now. Raiders team total at this moment is 16.5.
Can the Raiders score 17? Can they score 2 touchdowns and a field goal
against the Steelers defense
at home? Without
what? The Steelers defense might be the play for the touchdown.
Perhaps.
Yeah, 16.5. That's a good number. It'd be fun to root for that under 3 and outs. 3 and out. But they're going to get a lot of chances because the Steelers are probably going to go 3 and out a lot too. So,
right.
Yeah, it's tough. This is tough.
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to go 2.5 with the Steelers, and then I've talked myself into the under for fun.
Okay. I do think the under is the play here.
Okay. That makes me feel better.
Give me the under 36.5.
Boom.
Steelers, Raiders. I cannot bet on Mike Tomlin as a favorite. I refuse.
I'll do it.
I refuse. Okay. We're almost at the end.
Yeah, we got 2 more afternoons and then the Sunday night.
Okay.
Which the Sunday night, we can just say under and call it a night,
All right. Falcons and Panthers. I feel like the Falcons in this is a money line parlay play, but there is a system. This is the system play, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep, same system with the Browns at plus 9.5. Teams that got blown out the previous week come back and cover the spread the next week. Panthers are 6.5-point favorites. The Falcons just won an emotional game on Thursday night last week.
You mean? Yep.
6.5-point underdogs. Falcons just won an emotional game last week against the Saints at home, overtime. Kind of feeling themselves a little bit. The number is actually 6, but this is another instance where I bought a hook, so 6.5. It's at minus 128 on FanDuel right now. I'm just riding with the system, and hypothetically speaking, the Panthers don't look horrible against bad defenses. And I don't think the Falcons defense is all that good. I'm sure you have the numbers more so than I do, but the Panthers, they beat the Raiders, who they were just a better team on the field. And I'm not saying that they're gonna beat the Falcons here, but I think they can keep it within a touchdown. A division rivalry, come on, at home with 30 people there, maybe, I don't know. Sure. So yeah, I'm just riding the system, and I love the over in this game. As a matter of fact, 46.5. Big fan of the over here.
Big fan of the over, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I don't really have anything. This game sucks. This game's worse than fucking Colts and Titans.
Yeah, this is one that I was interested in making interesting for myself just because of the system. So yeah, I'm going to take the Panthers, and I think both teams score. I think it's going to be a shootout, 46.5. Let's go for it.
Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket.
Red Rocket, baby.
All right. Let's go to the game of the week.
The best game of the week.
That's sure. Lions, Cowboys. That's how we'll end the show. Mostly. Lions, Cowboys. Cowboys 3-point underdogs at home. Total is 52.5. Lions on the road, 3-point favorites.
Yep. Scary spot.
The Lions are 4-1 against the spread the last 5 games versus bottom 10 scoring defenses. And the Cowboys, while they've somehow, some way pulled out a victory against the Steelers, boy, do they continue to suck. They continue to suck. They are ranked 21st in scoring defense. The Lions have the 9th. They're ranked 9th in scoring offense. The Cowboys are 11th against the pass. They're 24th against the run. The Lions love to run the ball with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. It's hard to not want to take the Lions here.
This is exactly the game that the Cowboys win. They lose the games that they're supposed to win, and they win the games they're supposed to lose. Everything that you just said is 1,000% true. The Lions should go in there, and they should take care of business against the Cowboys.
They are also coming off the bye.
Correct.
Yes.
This has Lions written all over it, which is why I am taking Cowboys plus 3.5 with the hook and sprinkling money line. That's what this game is to me. And it's no hate to the Lions because I'm a Bears fan. I have no hate in my heart for the Lions. I think what they're doing is fun, and I'm happy for Lions fans that they're good. This is a Cowboys special right here. They win a game they definitely shouldn't have won. They're going against the Lions, and they're going to look like an absolutely completely different team this week than they did. So I love the Cowboys here. I thought I loved the over at 52. But I think I'm gonna go past that, and I'm just going right for Cowboys 3.5 and sprinkling a little money line in there. I have now officially talked myself into Lions -3. Okay, great.
Lions -3. The Cowboys have struggled all season to run the ball. They finally were able to run the ball against the Steelers a little bit with I can't say his last name, but they were able to run the ball against the Steelers. The Lions ranked 4th in the NFL against the run. All right. Cowboys are 31st in the NFL against the run. If they're not going to be able to run the ball, and they're not going to be able to stop the run, I'm taking the Lions to cover this 3. It's disgusting. I hate it just because I hate taking road favorites, but the Lions are the better team here. They're coming off the bye. They've played some solid teams already this year. The Lions, they have one bad loss, and it wasn't even really, the Buccaneers are a good team.
I will say, hand up, I did forget that they were going against that they were going up against the bye week. I forgot that they were off last week, so that didn't go into my formula of this as Cowboys written all over it, but I'm standing by the Cowboys here. This is by far the stupidest play of the week for me is being on the Cowboys here, and I understand that. And I'm not going to throw any money stats at you, and I'm not going to show you where the money is or anything, because everything is screaming this is the Detroit Lions game.
Yeah.
This is my stupid this is my throw a dart at the dartboard play of the Cowboys coming and making a statement and saying we still have to kind of be in this thing.
Well, Michael Parsons was also ruled out 2 hours ago. So give me the Lions.
Damn it.
I'm putting the Lions money line in my money line parlay for the week too. So
Michael Parsons out, huh?
Yep.
Against a really bad defense already.
Yep.
All of that I just said. I gotta stand with what I said. I said. Yeah. I said nothing matters and the Cowboys are gonna win this game, so I have to stand by it.
I will say that the team that needs to win this game the most is the Cowboys, but they just have not looked good, man. They look terrible against the Steelers. I know the Steelers have a great defense, but I don't know. They have not put together a great game except for week 1 against the Browns.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand. Look, again, everything says this is dumb. And I'm telling you that this is dumb.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stand by it. And now, if I'm right, I'll be very loud and vocal about it. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to say I told you I was an idiot. So
right. Now, a follower of mine over the last handful of years, Shep Russell, is in the chat, and he says, who are the refs? I don't know what game he's particularly talking about, but you have to be a real degenerate if you're looking up refs for certain games. And I
said it's 7-10, so it had to be this game, right?
I don't know. Perhaps. And I don't know the refs for this game.
Shout out Shep. I respect that.
Yeah,
I respect the hell out of that.
He's curious. He wants to know.
Yeah.
But that leads me to the 2 player props that I like for this game. Jahmyr Gibbs over 21.5 receiving yards. The Cowboys are 27th in receiving yards to opposing running backs. And they already bad against the run, but as we've seen in recent weeks, Gibbs is getting a lot of play in the passing game. He had 7 targets last week. I believe he had 6 the week before. So I like Jahmyr Gibbs to get 22 yards receiving this week against the Cowboys. And the other one that I like is CeeDee Lamb. And now, before I say that what I'm betting, it's juiced in so many different places. Like everyone is betting this prop, but CeeDee Lamb over 81.5 receiving yards because Detroit has been not great at all really against the pass.
Yeah.
And I think based on game script, I think the Lions are going to be leading most of this game. So that means that the Cowboys are going to have to pass it. So on BetMGM, it's at 81.5 at -145. If you go over to FanDuel, it was up to like 86.5.
Yeah,
and it's still like -125.
Yeah, so I built a little parlay with your two props there, and then you may have been about to get to this, but we also discussed about a CeeDee Lamb touchdown being all up in there.
Yeah.
So those 3 together, the 21.5 for Gibbs, the 81.5 for Lamb, and then a Lamb touchdown. That's a plus 375 parlay on BetMGM. And I know that BetMGM, they hand out boosts and stuff all the time. So that's something I'm keeping my eye on for Sunday. I'm going to wait for whichever book gives me a same game parlay boost first. And I think that's going to be my parlay of the weekend that I do. So, and I'm going to do one for the Bears because we talked about that earlier.
Sure. Okay. My lock from this game though is Jahmyr Gibbs over 21.5 receiving. That's my lock. Man, I'm not even against CeeDee Lamb. You do an alternate receiving line at 100, or if you can get it at 90.
Sure.
I'm not against it. The Cowboys are going to be trailing most of this game, and they're going to have to throw it. And CeeDee didn't have the greatest game against Pittsburgh. He's going to be at home. He's going to get targets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not worried about that either.
So, Give me Jahmyr Gibbs over 21.5 receiving yards and CeeDee Lamb. Anything.
Cool. Love it. So, so you've teased your money line parlay.
Yeah.
I want to hear that, and then I have a parlay as well.
All right. So at this point, I have Texans money line. I have Ravens money line. And like I needed help adding at least 2 more. I had the Packers, but then you talked me out of it.
Sorry.
And now that I've talked myself in the Lions, it might be the Lions.
Texans, Ravens, Lions. What about the Bucks? Didn't we talk about the Bucks?
We did, yes. We did. And we both lean the Bucks.
Yeah.
But it's a very tough game.
Yeah, it's a dumb game.
Yeah, it's a dumb game.
There's a lot of dumb games this weekend, so
let's just this is what I'm just going to put out there. All right.
This is your parlay, so don't take any of my picks into account.
We're gonna do Texans. We're gonna do the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's 3. And gosh.
While you decide on that, I'll share my parlay.
Go ahead.
So every week I do what I like to call 4 corners. I pick a favorite, an underdog, an over, and an under, and then I parlay them, but then I tease them just in case. And I can't tell you the numbers on it because I don't know. I didn't really track it, but I'll start tracking it now. So my picks, you're not going to like them. I have the Steelers -2.5, the Browns +10, the Falcons Panthers over 46.5, and then the Commanders Ravens under 51.5. Parlay them all together on FanDuel. It's +1,008, and then you can tease them by 6 points to get a +240 parlay. So that's what I'm going to be rolling with. I'm going to tweet that out because 4 corners is fun. You're rooting a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Thank
I
you.
don't hate it.
Well, right. It involves the Steelers, and I know you were talking about liking the Raiders in that one, didn't you?
I did, just because I'm not a fan of Mike Tomlin as a road favorite.
Yeah. Okay.
But I have decided that the moneyline parlay for this week is going to be the Texans, Ravens, Lions, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers parlay. That's a 4-legger +339.
+339. Okay.
You could probably get better odds on other books. The Texans are -300. I've seen them lower on FanDuel. I might go to FanDuel and place the bet there, but I just have it pulled up on BetMGM right now. But Texans, Ravens, Lions, and Buccaneers moneyline parlay for Week 6 NFL.
And then when all of these bets inevitably lose, we will be chasing our tails with the under in Sunday Night Football.
Yes. Yes, because that game sucks. That game absolutely sucks. So
I don't think I'm even going to watch it. I'm going to be honest with you.
My play for Sunday Night Football is the classic primetime under. Death taxes, primetime unders.
Primetime under, yeah.
Place it now before all the other people come in and lower it.
Right, yeah, definitely. That's it. Yeah, that should be like on Tuesday when the lines come out for the next week, the 3 primetime games. Just go ahead and put a little sprinkle on the unders.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
I like it.
Okay.
So, in all, we came into this saying we don't have a lot of bets. But
we talked about every game.
But I have a lot more highlights on here than I did before we said words. So, got some work to do. And go check out our picks for college football tomorrow. Because we do have some pretty fun plays there as well.
Exactly. Yes. I'm going to clip some things and put them out tonight for college football, but yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
All right. That's it. We will be back Monday for Monday Night Football.
Might as well.
And best of luck the rest of the weekend. Everyone say a prayer before you do college football tomorrow. Me and Tommy will be going head to head against each other in Oregon and Ohio State.
That's right.
And Oregon already announced that they're going to wear these badass uniforms. And so he is so screwed because Oregon's going to win at home as an underdog against Ohio State tomorrow.
Now, I will say the last time Pat McAfee was hype on his own show about being somewhere and doing the show there that I remember was when they were in West Virginia, and West Virginia got their butts handed to them. So he was pretty hype about Oregon today. That's all I'm hanging on to because the Duck was on the show. I mean, this is the same situation as the Cowboys. I'm like, oh boy. But sticking to my guns here. So
I respect it. All right. We will see you all on Monday. Thanks for checking out the Just Another Sports Betting Podcast, the greatest name for a sports betting podcast out there. I just came up with that on the spot. I'm just going to start saying it at the end of every show. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.
Bye.